Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and together we are going to be diving in with the charms and the cards to look into your next 2 weeks to see what you got going on for those main energies. But we're also going to be looking specifically with the charms to see what you got going on for a week-by-week energy forecast. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel today. I do pick a card readings every single Monday, as well as I sprinkle in some educational videos, so definitely feel free to subscribe in on the fun if you'd like to, and join in. But we are going to be looking into the next 2 weeks. Like I said, we're going to be going week by week. We're going to be playing with the charms, the cards, the whole works, as you guys know, so definitely feel free to just have fun with it. But also, if you want to support the channel as well as support yourself with a New Year's snail mail or digital reading, then definitely feel free to check out all of the information on that down below. They're great readings if you've never had a reading before, or if you have, as it goes overarchingly over the entire year. So it's really helpful to have because it's not like just specifically honed in on one thing, so you can really look at the overarching portion of the year to see the biggest themes, the biggest obstacles you might have to overcome, how you might overcome those obstacles, your biggest strengths, what you can use to navigate you forward, your inner sort of compass for the year, all that kind of fun stuff. So if you're interested, definitely feel free to check those out down below. They're my favorite to do, and I actually do use these readings to do one for myself every year. So if you're curious, if you want to ask any more questions or you want to order one yourself, all the information is down below to contact me and let me know. So with that all said, let's dive right into the piles. So for each of the piles here today, I felt like whipping up and bringing back out some of the little watercolor affirmations and messages here. So you can actually use these as messages specifically because of the color or the words on them, or because they really resonate with you however you wish. But for each of them here, we have for pile number 1, decide which way to go, in this orange with these little arrows on the side pointing in 2 directions. So that is pile number 1. And here for pile number 2, you have 2 sides to every coin with this sort of blended color here of sort of a minty teal and a purple. So that's pile number 2. And here for pile number 3, last but not least, is sort of this pinkish tone with the phrase of what if ... So that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps and off to your piles, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing intuitive breath here with me so you can really feel out the piles and take your time. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. So as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose from all of the piles. You can take little bits and pieces. You can choose a pile, change your mind, flip-flop as you go. All of the timestamps are down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video, and you're welcome to choose any or all of them. And if you want to get those snail mail readings or digital readings for the new year, they are only open throughout the month of January, so definitely hop on it if you want to support yourself and the channel. So thank you so much for hanging out here already in the intro and making it to the end. I always appreciate those who listen all the way through. And we are going to go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to decide which way to go, then this is the pile for you to look into the next 2 weeks for you using the charms, some tarot cards, some tarot charms as well, letters and numbers, and we're going to look into all of it really to see what's going on for you for the next coming week and into the week after that even. So we're going to be going 2 weeks ahead. So do feel free to get yourself settled, grab some water, get cozy, get a little snack if you'd like to. And we are going to begin with the letter tiles, as always. I do think it's interesting, the specific phrase that you chose, decide which way to go. That's the affirmation that I was most intrigued to see how the letters even fell, in case it like mattered which way they fell on here. So we're going to be starting with the letters to see if you're making a decision right now, or if you're kind of deciding options, looking at multiple points of view of something. We're going to be looking into that. Otherwise, you can, not really look at the decide which way to go message and just see the letters as a whole. Definitely feel free to use your own intuition here. I haven't opened this back up yet, but feel free to use your own intuition. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's pull some letters. These are going to be looking into, by the way, any oracle messages, letters, dates, places, right? We could spell anything with them. So let's go ahead and have a little look. Okay, so we have a few letters that have come up upright first. We have M, O, Y, D, Z, and E. What I find interesting is you have most of them falling on one side. So it almost feels like you already know that if you're trying to make a decision right now, I feel like there's one that's definitely got more pros than cons. One that you maybe have like a lot more questions, right? You're asking why, you're asking where, the wins, right? So if we're looking in that context with this, I feel like there is, you have a lot more information on one side, and a lot less, like a lot that you're still trying to figure out or understand when it comes to another choice or option that might be in your favor. So that's just something to think about. But outside of that, you also have V, E, S, A, I, and another S. So I'm going to go ahead and move this aside and just see them all together here. And let's see what we can spell. So right off the bat, I've got move showing up here. So you might be moving. There could be something as simple, right, of which movie to go see, right? Because we also have movie showing up here. So it could be, something as simple as that. But it can also be something much bigger, right? That you're moving, or you're changing jobs, or something is really big that's transforming or changing, or that you're going on some sort of trip, right? This could be some of those bigger things that could be happening within the next 2 weeks. But otherwise, I could think that there's just some like trivial questions and interesting things that you're kind of figuring out. I also saw like sesame in here as well. I'm not exactly sure how sesame is spelled, to be honest. But I also saw like sesame showing up here. So that's making me think again, like a movie or a dinner, or there could be something going on there where you're trying to figure out where you're going, or you're trying to figure out how to get there, right? With move, movie, and sesame. So there could be like a date night happening. There could be an interesting night out that you're going on over the next 2 weeks. We also have sea showing up here. So maybe it's to the beach. And like maybe it's even like more of a me time kind of thing, because we have I and me showing up here. So it could be just like a solo thing that you're just doing for yourself. I also saw like dove showing up here, which, for symbolism of dove, that could be also showcasing like a lot of peace or messages coming in, right? Like a messenger dove of some sort. So there could be something going on there. I'm definitely getting like date night romance kind of feeling that's going on for some of you, but I also see like just some time to yourself or messages coming in terms of like maybe an Amazon package that's going to show up or something. So it's always interesting to see how these show up, because they can go so many different ways. So feel free to, chuck what does not resonate and leave what does. Play around with these as you'd like. But we're going to go ahead and move on to see what else you have coming in, but this time instead of the letters, we're going to be looking into your numbers. So these might be specific dates or specific days to be aware of, or even ones that have been in the past as well, and see how you can connect the dots there. You can have these as angel numbers, repeating numbers, other symbolism showing up too. So let's go ahead and mix these up. A little array there. First off, we've got 2 6s showing up here in orange and black. 6 being a number of harmony. We also have 1, 8, and another 6. So Some of you, I know that can seem a little scary, getting 3 6s in a row, but honestly, because the number is more about harmony, so if you find a lot of conflicts that happen over the next couple of days or farther into the week about like what movie to see, what restaurant to go to, where to go to, where those messages are coming in, like I was talking about before, like a dove sending a message, right? There can be miscommunication that happens there because it's very you don't get all of the context. You only have so many things you can write. So when I'm seeing this show up here, it's telling me that whatever conflicts show up over the next 2 weeks, they're definitely going to resolve, and they're going to give you an answer to which way you're going to be going as well, because there's this resolve feeling that I'm getting from the 666 here. On top of that, the 18th or the 16th might be a very significant day for some of you. So it might be something to look back on your planner or your calendar at. But overall, that's everything that we really have here. But let's go ahead and move to our next little section here, where I want to look into the card you have coming in for the main theme or energy that you're going to encounter most over the next 2 weeks, right? So a theme for the next 2 weeks, or a energy that you're going to encounter most. So definitely feel free to send your energy into the cards as I shuffle them up for you all. And we're going to see what that is for you. So, group 1 here, with decide which way to go. And these 6s. What do we got going on over the next 2 weeks? The biggest and highest energy or theme. Okay. Ooh, we've got the 8 of Cups. I find that really interesting because you got move earlier. Move being about transformations or change or needing to move from one place to the next, right? It's a transitionary period. And the 8 of Cups has a lot to do with, as you can see, this figure is retreating. They are moving towards something else that is going to be, maybe it's not necessarily going to benefit them, but in this case, it really feels like it is. You've got a lot that's showcasing that. You'll have success or a better harmony in this move, but what you might be moving or retreating from or moving away from is something that just no longer lights you up, right? Something that you're just feeling fizzled out, you're not as excited about it. Maybe you thought you wanted to go see that movie, but really it just was like, I don't know, the reviews are kind of bad, or something that you've been anticipating or something you've been excited about over the next 2 weeks might fizzle. But I do think that you're going to still want to find something else, right? You're just going to decide or make a decision or adapt to that situation quite easily, right? We even have easy showing up here as well. So I really feel like it's going to be an easygoing next 2 weeks so far. It really feels like any conflicts that show up are going to be resolved. It really feels like you know yourself enough to know what situations aren't really serving you, or the things that aren't lighting you up or getting you excited about anymore, and knowing when it's time to retreat from those things. The 8 of Cups can talk a little bit more about deeper emotional things too, where you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't light you up anymore, or much bigger, deeper things, right? Things we feel emotionally tied to and have to sort of cut ourselves away from and get some time away or some perspective. So this can go deeper for some of you, but like I said, there is this easygoing, breezy feeling to your guys' next 2 weeks. So I feel like for the majority of you, it doesn't go that deep. So we're going to go ahead and see what else you have coming in for the next 2 weeks with the charms now. So in this case, we're still going to be using tarot, but we're also going to be using the personal charm set I have over here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to use this little charm mat that I have hand created myself. And what we're going to do is anything that falls in the center here will be more on that 8 of Cups to get more context there. Anything that falls in this little half noodle shape is about week 1, and then anything that falls over here is about week 2 specifically, and we'll talk about the moons if anything falls there. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull you some tarot tiles here with these charm cast tarot tiles, and pull you a few of them. So do feel free to send your energy in as always, and let's see what you get for the next 2 weeks. Okay, I definitely had ones that kept trying to like weasel out of my hands here, but we do have two more to show more context on that Eight of Cups from before, and then a couple of other ones which we'll reveal as we go. But we do have the Strength card and the Seven of Wands, and don't worry, we will zoom in here in a moment. But I'm going to start out first by getting you some more context with the charms, so do feel free to send your energy in as always. And let's mix this up. Okay, so not a ton of charms here, but we're going to see what you got going on for the most part. So like I said, we are starting out here. Actually, I'll go ahead and zoom you in on those even closer. We're starting out here with the Strength card and the Seven of Wands. Both really good cards to be getting, especially in a situation where you're trying to retreat from something that you feel very emotionally tied to, right? You're trying to cut ties with someone, something, a habit, or a situation that no longer lights you up, that makes you feel really frustrated or stuck or lost or confused or totally upset, heartbroken, whatever it might be. But it's showcasing that you have a lot of strength to sort of remove yourself from the situation right now, or it's going to take a lot of courage in order to do so. And then on top of that, it's also showing a lot of your resilience and your resolve here, and the fact that you have the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands, as you can see, there's a bunch of wands kind of representing other people's voices, other people kind of poking and prodding at you, trying to rile you up, whether it's people or a situation. Regardless, it's trying to rile you up here, and you're kind of defending yourself, right? You're defending yourself. You're really standing up for yourself. You got the higher ground going on here. And so it really feels like as we retreat here, it's either, like I said, if it's really deep for some of you, I think you're going to have a lot of courage and resolve and courage in order to move through this situation and really know yourself, to know where you're trying to head, and that leaving the situation or cutting ties might be the best option for you in this moment. If it's less deep over this next 2 weeks, and it could be just something as simple as, wanting to choose a movie and getting like in a conflict over something as simple as that, right? I also think this, just in general, this coming week, you're going to be finding a lot more of your strengths. You're going to be getting more in your groove. You're going to be standing up for yourself a lot more, maybe feeling a little bit more confident and more easygoing, really. That's really what I just keep getting here. So that's what I have here for the center, but let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit so you can see what we've got going on for week 1. So you don't have a ton going on here for week 1. We only have 3 charms here, but we have the Fall in Love charm, so more of that romance messages coming in here. Some of you might have some budding romances. Maybe you're having a date night, maybe you're having an anniversary, who knows, but there's something related to more of a romantic or even friendship. I can see a bit of friendship as well. But mostly romantic or self-love based messages showing up in the first week. So this is like going out on a date, hanging out with other people, connecting with friends, right? There's a lot of like heartfelt energy happening in this first week. And what I find also interesting is how I said you're kind of putting yourself up on a pedestal, or not even putting yourself up on a pedestal, putting yourself up on the higher ground, or feeling more confident to stand up for yourself or be in the spotlight in some way. That's kind of what this charm represents. So the fact that it's showing up here as well is telling me that in this first week, you're really feeling confident. You're really, you've got your chest puffed out. You're feeling just really like, yeah, I am confident. I am doing my thing. So you also have here the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Cups has a lot to do with that same sort of energy. What I find interesting is it's showcasing even more of that hints towards self-love or self-care showing up in this first week, because the Queen of Cups can sometimes represent kind of nurturing everyone else and making sure everyone else is fed and good and comfortable and happy, but not necessarily doing that for yourself. So this first week is talking about, giving back to yourself, getting a shower, going outside, going for a thing, doing something just for you in this first week. So I think that is both a sort of suggestion from Spirit, but also I feel like it could be something that's going on for some of you as well. Moving forward into the second week, because I know I've been waffling on with your guys' pile today. I'm just feeling chatty. We've got the 7, or is it 8? It's actually 9. I can count. There are 9 pentacles on this card, so it is the 9 of Pentacles showing up here. The 9 of Pentacles is all about having a lot of abundance, so I feel like there's a lot of abundance of love coming in here. A little bird is over here at the top corner of the card, so it's showcasing that that's going to bridge into the second week as well. So things that happened here, the good effects of the actions that you take in the first week really are going to make an impact in the second week for sure. Other things you have here too is that music is going to be a really big part of your second week. So it can be as simple as, making a new playlist, or something as big as going and seeing your favorite artist live or something. You really just have to sort of see how it plays into your plans over the next 2 weeks. But because there is this really big perspective charm with the Eiffel Tower, it's telling me too that you might be changing your mind about music, or changing your mind about a artist in your life, or someone that you don't necessarily know, but maybe someone is turning your mind around with some sort of artist or musician in your life. Other things that we have here, we have the temporary charm, the closure charm, and the puzzle piece. So I also feel like you're going to get a lot done in the second week. I feel like things that you've had on your mind that just feel like, tasks that you've just had cycling around, you're finally getting the last little pieces. If that's about that decide which way to go, right? I feel like you're going to be making more of a decision or getting more information in the second week when it comes to that. Because you do have that closure and that it's temporary, this puzzled feeling that you might have. The final charm that you have here, I don't even know if you'll be able to pick it up, but it's this little snowman, and it's not really even about it being a snowman here, but it's more the fact that it's invisible. So I always call this the invisibility charm. So I also am thinking that in terms of timing, that's what I usually see the moons as being, in terms of right after the full moon, as of when you're watching this. That could depend, you can look up a moon chart, but there's something that's going to feel invisible, something that you're not able to get answers from, or that is just going to kind of puzzle you. So I feel like that's going to be related to what's going on over here in that second week. So that's just showcasing again that there's definitely more research or questions to be answered to figure out this current situation you have going on in the second week with that decide which way to go. But overall, those are all of the cards and charms that I have here for you, Group 1. If you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below. Always curious to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm always reading them, even if I don't reply right away. I'm always reading them. I'm always very excited to hear what you guys have to say. So definitely let me know. And also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing, as I put out new videos every single Monday for these pick a card readings, as well as a whole, master guide video on charm casting and many others. So definitely feel free to subscribe. And if you're interested in getting your own, snail mail reading or a digital reading on the new year, definitely feel free to check those out down below as well, or email me, send me a DM, and I will send you all the information on those, because those are my favorites to do around this time of year, and they're super beneficial because they'll benefit you all year long to go back to and check in on. So definitely feel free to check those out if you want to support yourself in the channel, and I will leave you there. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, Group 2. If you decide to choose this specific affirmation or sort of message here of two sides to every coin, then this is the pile for you. So we're going to see a little bit more on this card as we go, but we're mostly going to be looking into, with the charms and the tarot cards, numbers and letters, to look into your next 2 weeks, both individually as well as more holistically, to see what you got coming in, right? So do feel free to get yourself settled, cozy, comfy, grab a little comfy snack, some water. I've got a little bit of water next to me, but get whatever you need to get cozy here, and we're going to get right into it. So we're going to be starting here first by looking into what you have coming in for specific letters. So we're going to be doing letters, numbers, charms, the whole works, but we're going to be starting with letters because they give us a little bit of context and information. They're really fun to play around with, so definitely feel free to use your own intuition, spell out different words, see what comes through for you. But we're going to look, and you're welcome to leave what resonates and keep what does, but leave what doesn't resonate, keep what does, and we are going to start with these. So these might give you some names, initials, dates, places. They might spell out other oracle messages for us. We're going to see, but let's go ahead and mix them up for you. So something that I hadn't mentioned earlier that while I was mixing them kind of came up in my mind is the fact that you chose not only pile 2, but you chose an affirmation that has 2 in it. So I'm very curious to see if we get the numbers to say 2 or anything that'll spell 2 here, but definitely you've got 2 showing up here already, 2 being a number of partnership, and a number of like friendship and connection. So we're going to see how that resonates with the rest of your week. But so far we have GLZEIU, as well as JA and O. So I'm going to move this aside so we can really look here and see what we can spell. For some reason, the word glisten keeps popping in my head. I know I can't fully spell it, but the word glisten keeps showing up to me, almost like something is glistening, or you feel really, pretty or handsome or beautiful or something like that, either from yourself or someone else. The idea with that 2 sides of every coin tells me like a perspective shift. So I could see that there could be some really nice feelings about yourself over the next 2 weeks, that you're just feeling really confident or really just comfy in yourself, you know what I mean? So we have that showing up here. I'm also seeing with the idea of you having a lot of connection showing up, and a lot of like partnership and conversation even can be showing up with those 2s. The fact that you have gel here is making me think that you're really gelling with other people. There's a lot of really good conversations going on, interesting, deeper conversations even, or that someone that you've had a hard time gelling along with, maybe you're, gelling with that person now. You can also turn that around and see leg here. Which makes me think that if you're waiting to finish something, you're very close to like that last leg of a race or the last leg of something that you're trying to finish, whether that's a goal of yours, a dream, a task or something. I could see that you're at the last leg of it. You're finishing those last little final touches over the next 2 weeks and finishing something up there. I'm going to be honest, you got some harder letters to work with here, so I'm not honestly seeing all that much, but I'd love to hear if you guys see something that I'm not seeing that's very obvious. But those are the letters that have shown up for you. Maybe there's specific initials that are really shouting out to you as well that I'm not able to pick up on. But we're going to go ahead and move to the numbers to do basically the same thing, but with numbers. So this is going to give us more of those repeating numbers, see if we get any more of those, angel numbers, manifestation numbers, all that kind of stuff. Or you can even just see them as specific dates that are really important to kind of keep an eye on. So we're going to see what you get here. So group 2. So let's have a little look here. So already you have 1 and 6 showing up here. So the 16th might be a very positive day or a more calming day with that blue. We also have another 6. Lots of 6s have been showing up. And you got another 6. That has never happened before in any of my readings, and it's happened in both pile 1 and 2. So I find that really, really interesting. Interesting that you got almost all of the exact same numbers as pile 1, besides the 3. So we have the 13th, the 16th, and I know that 666 seems very scary, and depending on your culture can be quite scary, but based off of what I know numerologically, 6s are very good harmony numbers. They talk about, things feeling, there's like a good homeostasis happening there, a very good balance, right? So whenever I see 6, it just showcases balance and harmony and like a lack of conflict and a lot of really good things going on, a lot of success. So the fact that you have that showing up here, and then a lot of success within connections or finishing up tasks or things like that, is really nice to see. The 13th or the 16th might also be just very important days to keep an eye on moving into the next 2 weeks, but we're going to go ahead and look at what else you have going on here. But I promise you it's a good number, so we're going to see what else there is. So let's go ahead and see with the tarot cards. So we're actually going to pull just one tarot card today, outside of the tarot charms later. We're going to see what you have coming in for the biggest and most reoccurring theme or energy showing up over the next 2 weeks. So this is like the big one. This is the overarching message. So definitely feel free to send your energy into this one specifically, and we're going to go ahead and pull what that card is for you. So group 2, what do you got coming in here? Ooh, you got the Sun, another really positive card. The Sun is all about creativity, connecting with your inner child. Like I said earlier, you got that feeling of like connecting with yourself on a really good level. And like I was saying with that glisten, it almost felt like, glistening in the sun. Like, when someone says like, you just look so lively and you look so dewy and you just look really like you're glowing, like you're glistening. I just feel like that's what you're going to have going on, whether that's someone else seeing that in you, or like I said, I just feel like you're going to be seeing that in yourself. Like there's just this glisten, this glow, an inner glow coming out. So really love seeing that with the Sun. The Sun also, like I said, talks about positivity, optimism being even a more important word, right? Sometimes positivity can be a little bit toxic, but I like the word optimism and the idea that it's not saying that everything's perfect, but we're just going to look at the other side of the coin. We're going to see both sides and live in both worlds and, choose the one of optimism, right? So we have that showing up here as well with the Sun. So I can see you being super optimistic, very creative, glistening and glowing over these next 2 weeks, and just really being quite successful. Even if that success isn't like society's version of success, or like what your mom or dad expects of you, not an expectation of success, but like what is successful to you, right? Sometimes that's just finishing that show you were watching, right? Sometimes it's reading that book you've been reading for 2 months, right? Success is specific to us. So that's really what I'm seeing here as well, especially with that inner child. It's like more success that's specific to something that's going to really make you glow or make you really happy. So really love seeing that for you already for your main energy here, but I want to look even further as always with these readings. So we're going to be looking here at this big charm mat that I hand embroidered a long time ago, and a lot of people have been asking if they could get something like this, so definitely feel free to message me if that's something they are interested in, a little custom mat of your own that's similar or another version. I've done one for another person as well, and I'd love to do it again, so definitely feel free to reach out if that's something that you're interested in. But we're going to be using the charms and the tarot cards to cast on top of this mat here, and anything that falls in the center, we're going to see more on that Sun energy, more of the main energies coming in. This little noodle shape talks about whatever is coming in for the first week, and then this is the second week, and then the moons we'll talk about individually. So let's go ahead and begin first with the tarot. So the tarot charms here, definitely feel free to send your energy into the dark abyss, and we'll see what comes back. So let's see the next 2 weeks for group 2. Someone was hiding down there. So let's see what you've got here. We've got a couple of them that feel more middle energy for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and set those in the middle. One in the 2-week section, one up here. Ooh, a good financial opportunity maybe showing up here at the top. And we will flip over these ones as we go as well. I usually wait to flip them, so clearly I was just excited to see what you all got. But we're gonna get some more context around these with the charms. So definitely feel free, as always, to send your own energy into the charms. It really does make a difference. And we're gonna mix them up here. Okay, so I actually had one that fell in my lap, so I'm going to see if that was meant to be there. So we've got a few different charms showing up here, which I find really interesting already off the bat, but let's go ahead and zoom you in so you can actually see here what I'm talking about. But here in the center, let's always start there first. We have a few different things. Sometimes we get an empty center, and sometimes it's the epicenter, honestly. And so I'm going to go ahead and move your little sun card here, if I can grab it, down here so you can see it. But you have the sun, like I talked about, creativity, optimism, that glistening, glowing feeling. And like I said, it felt like success was definitely on your way over these next 2 weeks, in the idea that you're kind of breaking through some barriers that have been in your path for a while, because we have the Nine of Wands, and the Nine of Wands can be a really good card. It can mean that you're protecting yourself, you're putting up boundaries against people and situations and habits even that no longer serve you or are putting you down or taking you down a peg or doing something like that. And so you might have someone or something culturally where they mean well, right? There's either there's something in your culture, or there's someone who you see above you. I'm kind of getting a parent feeling, right? Like a mother, a father, a guardian, a caretaker of some sort that has sort of a power dynamic over you that is trying to kind of use culture, use some sort of belief against you out of love, or in a tough love kind of way. And it's not to say that they don't mean well, but I don't feel like it's been beneficial to you, or it hasn't been very useful to you in the past. And I feel like that might be showing up for you as something that you're going to maybe have to combat, or something you're going to have to put up boundaries against over these next 2 weeks. But it definitely seems like, because the sun is the one that decided to come out the most, you're going to be successful in this, and that's going to be quite an eye-opener even maybe for them, with that idea of that two sides to every coin, and the sun being a card about illuminating something and things being communicated very clearly. So that's a really good positive sign, or optimistic sign, to be seeing showing up here for more of that main energy. But looking aside from that, we also have your first week. And so big perspective shifts are happening in that first week as well. I truly do feel like you're going to be changing other people's minds, or changing your own mind about something that you've been kind of stuck in the past. Because I know I've said this many times, but the Eiffel Tower, when it was first put up, was actually like really, they wanted it taken down. They did not like it. They thought it was really a really ugly piece of art, and they didn't want it up. But now it's clearly completely changed. We see it very differently here today, and so that shift in perspective can take time, but I do think that it is something that is very important and going to be getting the ball rolling here in that first week. And the fact that you also got the bull here, which is all about, standing your ground and really, not backing off. That's really good to be seeing in that first week too, especially with that putting your boundaries down. You also have here the temperance card. The temperance is about mixing and mingling two things. It's about finding that balance, like I said, with that 6 number and harmony. So I really feel like it's going to be taking time for this perspective shift to happen, whether that's internally or with someone else or around a situation. But that perspective shift is happening. I definitely see it in this first week. And I think it might mix some things up. It might change the dynamic a little bit, but it's going to be ultimately for better harmony and for a benefit towards you. So that's really good to see. The last charm that you have here is the take the path less traveled charm, right? Because this would be the path you'd take if you were like at a fork in the road. That's the one that most people would travel on, but you're taking like the less well-trodden roads. So even though this perspective shift is all happening here too, it can be that the perspective is because you're taking a road less traveled, or it could be just that in general in the first week, if you're trying to make a decision completely not based on everything we've talked about here, like just totally aside from it, in the first week you just might be making a decision and going a very less popularized view or sort of path to take. So we have that showing up here in your first week. Here in your second week, we have a couple of other things showing up here. I'll go ahead and zoom you out so you can see a little bit more here. We have the frozen charm. So whenever I see this, it means something is frozen, it's stuck, or it's stopped. So momentum that's been stopped here is to do more with that creativity or that inner child connection that we talked about with the Sun card. So I really feel like something that is, it almost feels the opposite, honestly. It feels like, even by the way that I set this here, it feels like you're combating, things that have happened either in your childhood or your formidable years that used to make you really happy, that made you really feel like all of your cups were full, that there were rainbows in the sky, that there were possibilities everywhere, around every corner, right? As we have that inner child point of view, right? Anything is possible when we're a kid. And I really feel like you're combating things that have been holding you back from being able to feel that feeling again. And I feel like that's part of what's been going on here, but I also think in general, it can also mean just that, if it's not inner child related, it can just mean in general this second week, you guys might be, going after the things that truly give you joy, that truly fill your cup, that truly make you feel, loved and connected and safe emotionally. So that's what I'm seeing here in the second week. That's really all that's coming up. It's more of a emotionally centered week than like a to-do list kind of week. Other things you have showing up here, like I said, there's a financial opportunity or an opportunity happening just after the new moon, because we look at the moons as timing. So you're welcome to like Google what moon you are currently in, when the next new moon is. But just after the new moon, you might have a financial opportunity show up. So that's something to keep in mind. It could be something really small as finding, a coin in your couch, or it could be something much bigger. So just keep your eye around that time on that. And then lastly, down here with your other moons, you have a few other ones. We have the Four of Wands showing up here just before the last quarter moon here. And then you also have here, in conjunction with this, the inner child charm, which I find really interesting. This is like me in middle school or something, I think, or like 5th grade. I'm not for sure. But that just shows more of that same energy I was getting over here, but that this is going to continue to build and continue to be a really big part of your life, because the Four of Wands talks about really building something and getting momentum and feeling very successful in it. And the fact that you have the inner child showing up here as well is just telling me again that there's going to be a lot to do with your inner child, or reconnecting with, that childlike part of yourself and really letting them shine. So definitely letting them shine around that last quarter moon for sure, or you might have an opportunity in order to do so sort of show up here. So those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for your next 2 weeks. If you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw in the charms, if there were specific letters. Like I said earlier, they were a little bit more jumbly here, so I'm very curious. So definitely let me know what you saw. And also, if you haven't already, do consider subscribing, as I put out new videos for pick a card readings almost every Monday. And if it isn't a pick a card reading, it'll be an educational video on charm casting, on art magic, or the like. So definitely feel free to subscribe. And if you want to support the channel and yourself even further, I have New Year's snail mail and digital readings out right now for you to get all through January. I think these are like the best readings to get if you are new to tarot readings or getting your own private and personal readings. So this one would really benefit you, especially if you're just starting out, and anyone really, because it'll last all year round, right? So it's something that you can get and it'll really do an overarching point of view. So if you're interested and you want to support the channel even further as well as yourself, definitely feel free to check those out down below and contact me if you're interested or have any questions. So thank you so much for hanging out here with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this little message of what if ... then this is the pile for you to look into your next 2 weeks, right? We're going to be looking with the charms, the numbers, letter tiles, the tarot tiles, tarot deck, all of it, to look into your next 2 weeks. We're going to be casting charms onto the charm mat. We're going to be playing around with different configurations with the letters and all of that to look into not only the holistic point of view of your next 2 weeks, but also the individuals for each week by week. So definitely feel free to get yourself cozy, settled. I've got myself a little water bottle by me to kind of keep myself going, but definitely feel free to get yourself a snack, get cozy, get a little blanket. I've also got a blizzard going on outside right now, so if you hear the blizzard wind or anything like that, then that's what that is. So I definitely, at least where I live, right, I definitely recommend a blanket, but we are going to go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start out first with your letters. So in this case, whenever you see the letters show up here, we're going to be looking specifically into any initials, dates, places, oracle messages that we can really spell out, or any full names even. So definitely feel free to send your own energy in here and have your own intuition flowing as well. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't as we move through this in a collective reading. But let's go ahead and pull you some charms, group 3. Or rather, some letter tiles, but regardless, we have first at showing up here with A and T, and immediately we also have run showing up here. So this could be, you might actually be going for a run. I wouldn't recommend it in our blizzard right now, but depending on where you live, that might be more possible. But we have a run. Run can also represent like needing to get away from something, or needing to get some perspective, or just needing to get away. But at is showing up to me as well. So the fact that you're getting both at and run is telling me that you're trying to run, or even if you're not actually running, it can be just like physically trying to get from one place to another, that you're trying to get to a certain location or a certain place. So I'm curious to see how that is resonating with you all, but right off the bat, like I said, we have RUNATI, R and I. Interesting. 2 R's, 2 I's. Ooh, what is interesting here too, as I looked at this further, you also have not only run and at, and the fact that you have what if, which talks about a lot about like, a possibility emerging. You have turn showing up here as well. Almost like you've been running and running and running and running in circles towards something that just isn't showing up for you. And maybe it's just like the time to turn, or to change direction, or to look somewhere else, or to, really shift or pivot. And so the fact that that showed up here too, that really like gave me chills. So I really feel like that's one that's very specific for quite a few of you. In that this week and over the next 2 weeks, you're going to really be turning or changing the page, right? Like turning a page or changing your direction, really shifting or pivoting over these next 2 weeks from something that you've been running in circles at, or running to try to get towards something, right? It's almost making me think of like a hamster wheel, right? You're just running and running and running in circles, but never actually getting to where you're going. And so I feel like you've been running in circles with something. I'm not sure exactly what it is. We'll see as we move forward. But that's really what's showing up for me. I'd love to see what else you were seeing in the charms, or in these letters. I don't know why I want to call them charms today, but in the letters today. But we're going to look even further with the numbers as well. So in the same way that we did the letters, we're going to use the numbers to look into any specific dates, not really places, but I suppose it could be places in terms of like a address, but definitely into any repeating numbers, angel numbers, spiritual numbers, numerology, or into the specific dates that might be coming through. So let's go ahead and pull these as well. There's one sitting down here that I just can't pick up. There we go. Okay, so interestingly, you had a 5 immediately fly out, which I don't have that happen very often, and 5 is a number of change, and it's about changing something up, and the fact that you have it in red here as well, is it feels like an immediate change, an immediate shift, very quick pivot, right? So we have change definitely showing up here. We also have the letter 2, or sorry, oh my gosh, I can't do my words today, a number 2 in orange. You guys ever had days like that? We also have the number 6 here, as well in black, as well as a 3 in blue. So in all of the piles, we've been getting a 6. So if you watched multiple piles, that can be even more showing up here, another layer. But with these, we've really got all single digits that could be in the 20, like 25, the 26th, the 23rd. You also might be finding that any of these as a single digit number in terms of a date might have been important in the previous weeks, or depending on when you're watching this, it could be in the future as well. But the biggest one that's standing out to me is that 5. That 5 is the one that's standing out the most to me, is that pivot, that change, that shift. And what you might be shifting or changing from is some sort of situation that, like I said, was on that hamster wheel. So I'm very curious to see what else is coming up here. That what if feels very positive, and it shows that there's another path than what you're currently taking. So I want to see where that takes us as we continue down the reading here. But I want to look into these tarot cards to pull one tarot card here for you to look at the overarching theme or energy that most is prevalent over the next 2 weeks for you. So definitely be sure to send your energy in for this one, if any, because this one is going to be the one that really makes or breaks the direction of where the reading is going to go. So let's see. Group 3. Yep. Okay. So as I was looking at the cards or the numbers as well, I was feeling called to the fact that you got that 3 being about pivoting and changing in terms of a friendship, or in terms of a partnership with someone, a connection with someone, a community even, where there's just a pivot or a change, something that's it's just not working anymore. So this could be an online community, this could be a workplace thing, this could be with coworkers, friendships. It really could go so many different ways, but someone you're working with actively right now, that feels like it's just going in a circle, right? You're not getting any change, nothing's changing, you're not maybe able to change someone's mind, or you're not able to get the result that you're after in the current position and situation that you are in with someone. And that's really what I'm getting here, is it really feels that way. The 3 of Pentacles talks a lot about, as you can see, people working together to build something, to craft something, to sort of work hard towards something. But in this case, and in specifically this card, really we're only looking at this one person, and you're the only person okay, how do I phrase this? You know, like when you're doing a group project with someone, like you can't make them do any more than they will, right? If they're going to be lazy, they're going to be lazy. If they're not going to want to put in the work, they're not going to want to put in the work, right? You can only really control your actions and what you decide to do, or how you decide to interact with them and the situation that you're trying to build here. So the fact that you have that showing up here, and that hamster wheel feeling really feels, especially with the way that it's shown here, that they might be lacking, or they're not really meeting you where you're at, or meeting you at the same level. And I really can see that being maybe quite frustrating, and that's again why that hamster wheel feeling keeps showing up in my mind. So I want to see even further, right? We're going to look even more to look into what else might be coming in for you over the next 2 weeks using this little charm mat here. A couple of you had been reaching out about getting a charm mat like this, so just thought I would put it out there. If you guys are curious to have your own charm mat like this, definitely feel free to just email me or message me, and we can see if that's something I could do. I've done it for a couple of you, so I would love to do that again. But yeah, besides that, this is how the mat is going to work. So anything that falls here in the center is going to be more about that Three of Pentacles energy, and anything else we want to look into there for those main energies or more overarching energies. As for going week by week, we're going to be looking into this half little noodle shape for week 1 and this one for week 2. As for the moons, we'll talk about those individually for timing. But let's go ahead and pull some charms, some tarot charms, and get them on the mat here, right? So let's go ahead and see what you got going on. Definitely feel free to send yourself in there, and let's mix these up. Okay, lots of tarot tiles here today. We only have one charm showing up here in the center with Temperance, and don't worry, we'll zoom in later for you to see more of the details here. But all of the rest of them have fallen sort of on their own little spaces here and upside down. So we're going to reveal them as we go, but let's go ahead and pull some charms to get more of that added context. So let's go ahead and mix these up. So group 3. Okay, so we got a few of them that are rolling about here, so I want to give them another chance. Okay, so let's go ahead and have a little look-see here. First in the center. So we're going to be looking even more into that Three of Pentacles energy, right? And what we got here is the peace sign upside down. And we also have the Temperance card upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and flip them upright just so that you can see them visually upright. But what I think is interesting is the Temperance card is all about things being mixing and mingling into harmony, back into like a homeostasis sort of energy. It's about things kind of mixing and mingling back into balance. And so the fact that you have that next to peace, which is all about peace and harmony and balance as well, is telling me that this Three of Pentacles is definitely not in balance, that there's definitely something going on where that peace is being disrupted and is sort of, crumbling in the idea that what you're trying to build here isn't really sort of gelling or working together very well. So it's definitely time to make a shift, make a pivot here, because if you keep just doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for the same results, right, as we know, it typically does not change, right? We're going to just keep getting that same result. So you're going to need to definitely make some sort of change over the next 2 weeks. You might find yourself really needing to change, or otherwise it's just going to kind of stay put. So whether that's with other people or whether that's needing to make a change in your life relating to this like wheel that I was talking about, regardless, the context is still overarchingly the same. But let's go ahead and look at the specifics of each week, right? So we're going to look first into week 1 here. And if you were looking for another eye, we already had 2 eyes showing up here in your letters already, and then you got another eye. So whenever I see eye too, it's about needing to really look after yourself, or needing to, look after and care for yourself in some way. And so maybe making these boundaries or changing things up or pivoting is going to be very beneficial to you, and it's going to help you in the long run, even if very difficult at the start. You also got the cloudy charm. So whenever I look at this, it means that it's very cloudy, like the blizzard we have outside right now. It's very cloudy. It's very resolved is what I'm getting here. Like things are unresolved in this first week for sure. So let's see what we've got for context. So we've got the Chariot card. We had it on the side. We also have the Hermit card and the 8 of Swords. So I feel like in this first week, where you might be wanting to because this really feels like the card to kind of represent that wheel, that feeling of just being on the hamster wheel, because it feels like you're just tied up. Things aren't really changing. You're getting the same results. You've gone over it a billion different times, and every single time you go over the situation or go over a conversation with someone, right, you're just still getting the same result. And things are just feeling much more cloudy in this first week. And I feel like this first week is going to be less about needing to make changes there and more so about looking after yourself and doing what you can for you right now, right? You can only control your actions, your perspective, your shifts, what you want to change. And I don't feel like you're going to be making a lot of changes in this first week. I feel like you're going to be more reserved. You're going to be kind of taking time for yourself, or you're going to be kind of looking after yourself in this first week. It almost feels like self-preservation or doing your own thing this week, especially with that Chariot card. I feel like you're going to be like conquering your to-do lists, but I don't know if you guys have ever done this when you've got something else on your mind, like sometimes like washing the dishes is really nice, or doing some chores and getting some other things done feels really nice because you have something else going on in the background of your mind. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Like, it feels like you're gonna like really get through some other tasks because you're kind of have this going on in the background and you need an outlet. But that's what I'm really seeing in this first week, because it doesn't feel like anything's being resolved in this first week. Whereas on the second week, we've got the clarity charm, which is the complete opposite of the cloudy charm, right? So we've got the clarity charm. Things are clear. Things are, pearlescent. Things make a lot more sense, and things are sort of shining a light on things. And what is interesting is we have the perspective charm in a very specific way. This one is like the mirror, right? It's looking at yourself. It's looking inward. It's looking towards what you could be doing in this situation to help yourself out. This is the week that it really feels like you're pivoting. So let's see what else you have here. You also have the High Priestess. That totally makes sense too. So the High Priestess is all about really listening to your own intuition, looking more towards yourself, turning the mirror towards yourself for sure, and seeing what you can do. What can you do to change the situation? Maybe that's about just not interacting with these people or the situation anymore. Maybe it's about needing to completely go down an entirely different path. Maybe it's it's much more simple, an easier tweak that's going on here. But regardless, it really feels like something is changing, but you're feeling less like you have to put on a fake smile, or just because it's like a fake coin, that you have to put on a fake smile or, have a fake version of yourself. You're being much more clear. You're telling and speaking much more clearly. You're really using your intuition and your instincts much better in the second week. And it feels like you also have the sewing machine charm here, which the sewing machine talks about, as sewing does, it bridges two things together and stitches something together. So where that piece was lost, where that situation might have been kind of on a loop, that's where that's going to be splitting, right? You're going to be splitting those seams and changing and shifting and turning. So I'm not exactly sure what the context here is, to be honest. It could be related to really anything. I feel like you guys are probably going to know. And if you don't know, then you're going to know in this coming week. Otherwise, maybe check out pile 1 or 2. But let's look at some of the timing charms you have here. So first off, here at the very top, oh wait, you can't see. Let me zoom you out a little bit. Here at the very top, whenever I'm looking at the moons, you can check out when the moons are showing up for you. So whenever the next new moon is for you, you have the sort of opportunity to maybe open a conversation with someone about everything that's kind of going on here. That'd be a really good timing for an opportunity to really bring something up with someone or make that shift or change when it comes to how you're communicating, because you have the Ace of Swords, which is all about, opening up a new avenue of conversation or new ideas as well could be forming around that time. And what I think is interesting is where we're going from like the seeds, the very, very seeds, right? Because an ace is still the very beginning of the suit. You also end here a couple weeks later at the first quarter moon talking about the King of Swords. So where this was just the very, very early beginnings of a conversation or an early beginnings of an idea forming, an opportunity sort of arising to shift or change. This is like you really mastered that. So the changes that you're going to be making are going to happen very quickly, very swiftly. And I feel like you're going to benefit from them quite quickly as well, right? Like if you've ever seen like a bar graph, like you're like really flying up there. So that's really what I'm seeing here. You guys had a very not really mysterious, but very like I wasn't getting very specific context here. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below as you've moved through this pile and hear what you guys have to say. But do let me know, like I said, in the comments down below. But also do feel free to give this video a like if you did enjoy it, or you found it beneficial in some way. And if you are interested in these pick a card readings or interested in educational videos on charm casting or art magic, then definitely feel free to subscribe as I put out new videos every single Monday. And if you're interested in supporting the channel and yourself with a snail mail or digital reading for the entire new year, then definitely feel free to check those out down below. They're a great way to support the channel and support yourself. And there's something that you can look back on as the year goes on and sort of check back in with. So it's a very, very useful one of my favorite kind of readings to do. So definitely feel free to check those out down below, and ask any questions, send me any questions you might have. So with that all said, thank you so much for joining me here today and hanging out, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.